Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. You've probably heard a lot of different definitions or acronyms for fear, right? One acronym is false evidence appearing real. I'm here to say the fears that we have, there's nothing false about them. That they are telling us a message that we need to listen to. So it's not false. It's just that we may be misinterpreting the message based on who we were when we first experienced this fear, because that's what we're triggering to come out in us again, is that earlier age, that earlier level of maturity. And this is the reason why we're having a hard time being able to work our way through it. Or this one I really like, the acronym for fear, fudge everything and run. Yeah, because there are times when fear shows up and it's telling us, you know what, we need to get out of this situation. We are just going to continue to be wounded. But running away doesn't mean that the fear won't keep showing up, because who we were when we accepted that original fear still goes with us everywhere. And when she gets triggered, she is simply letting us know that she doesn't have the competency to be able to work through it. You know, we all have different aspects to our personality. And so we've got this aspect, this part of our personality, again, from an earlier time. It's known as an imprint that's showing up and going, yeah, I need some assistance here. This is the best description I've heard of fear. Fear tolerated is faith contaminated. I didn't come up with that one, but I think it's pretty freaking brilliant. Because fears will come and go, but what are we allowing to show up in our life again and again? And what will happen whenever our dreams are delayed, we learn something known as discounting. Delayed discounting. Is our dream worth waiting for? Well, the fear will tell us no, because it's not going to happen. And so what we wind up doing is sacrificing our big dream for small, short-term payoffs right now that actually lead to self-sabotage. Yeah. So when the fear shows up, not your fault, that the part of you that experienced that fear is being triggered, that part of you did not have the competency, it did not have the confidence, it did not have the ability to go from emotional dysregulation into emotional optimization. This younger you did not have the ability to keep your focus on the prize of who you're going to be as you're working through it. And instead, hey, we're fudging everything and running, aren't we? Okay. So what do we need to do about this? Well, understand you will pay more in your mental, emotional, and physical resources to keep from losing than you will to gain your goal. So you're doing everything you can for things not to get worse, which pretty much guarantees they're going to get worse, because you're still coming from that imprint when you didn't have what you needed to make it through. So we have to begin to flip and begin to look at how to move forward, and how to, instead of saying, what can I do right now to make me feel good in those sabotaging behaviors. The overeating, the lashing out at someone, not just in anger. Anger can be very healthy because it means a boundary has been violated. It's when that anger is not presented in a way to others that draws a boundary. It's when that anger is used as punishment. You are going to make them wrong for what they did. You're going to get back at them with your anger. Oh, and then because the number one fear that all of us have is the fear of being wrong, and you're using your anger to make someone else wrong, what are they going to do? They're going to fight back just as hard to prove that they're right. Yeah, boy, then we get into some really twisted situations, don't we? So the anger must be used to draw boundaries. Boundaries bless. Rules, when used against someone else, restrict because they're all about punishment. So the one thing that women are not taught is how to use their anger in a healthy way. I'm just putting that out there as a side thought, which then leads to fear tolerated because we keep going into those anger states, those rage states, those resentment states, because no one taught us that we could actually use it to our benefit. Okay. So we have to begin to flip all this. And delayed discounting means that the dream is not worth waiting for. And so we got to do something right now to help us feel good. So the three ways that we act out in a sabotage way to help us feel good in the moment is first going to be our actions. So we're going to eat our emotions. We're going to binge on maybe too much TV. We're going to find somebody on social media to argue with. And by the way, that it's known as social media, not social engagement. It's meant to be observational only. It's not meant to be used to form relationships long term for best benefit. So keep that in mind whenever you're scrolling through something. It's meant for observation, not engagement. Okay, so the first level of the delayed discounting in a dysfunctional way is going to be trying to suppress and repress our emotions using an outside action or substance. Then the second way is going to be flipping those emotions over into something where we need to punish somebody else. We need to point the finger at them and say they're wrong. And you know what? Maybe they are. Maybe they have been engaging in activities that are wounding you to your very core. But because it's been tolerated, because you were never taught to draw healthy boundaries, it keeps showing up because that younger you keeps getting triggered. So you use those emotions to punish someone else. And then the final way that we use it that will delay our dreams into reality is we get to feel good by focusing on all the ways that we've been hurt, all the ways that we've been wounded, all the ways that we can justify making someone else wrong. Whew. Yeah, I know this cycle quite well. I lived it for a couple of decades, and I still find myself triggered. But now I understand that what I feel like is being delayed is who I need to be to turn my dream into reality. And that if my dream is worth waiting for, I need to find ways to feel good in this moment. I need to take the actions that are not going to suppress or repress, but allow me to work through and go to. I need to have boundaries in place where I take responsibility for my own growth. People take action and there are consequences of those actions. And whenever someone is doing something to trigger the fear in me, well, then I need to draw a boundary for me and them to say, both of us will experience consequences if this bad behavior is allowed to continue. And then what I can focus on is I can focus on what I need to be for me in a healthy way. I need to stop taking responsibility, dysfunctional responsibility for others and what it is that they're doing. And instead, I need to say, you know what? My dream doesn't have to be delayed. I don't have to be discounted in this process. I can claim who I am, the best me I can be in this moment. And sometimes that's grieving. Sometimes that is drawing those healthy boundaries. Sometimes that's just being validated by having someone else hear me. And sometimes that means that I need to take action to move forward because I've done those other things enough. It's time to give the pain a purpose for progress. Okay, if I can assist you, 1-636-699-7791. You can also go to drewdawnferguson.com/2021 and see a very special course coming up in a couple of weeks that will address this very thing. But either way, you need assistance in bringing out who you really are. Because if you could have done it all on your own, you'd already have what you want right now, all on your very own. Until we get together again, blessings on your journey.